What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be talking about why you can't even fix your own car in 2025. So today we're going to be talking about a little known law called the right to repair that affects every single person watching this video right now. Now, if anybody's bought a car in the last 10 years, I'm sure you've ran into issues of getting your car fixed or trying to get parts. Now, the reason why this is such a hot topic as of now is because the tech industry is trying to change the rules of the actual right to repair. So let me give you a little background story on why this is and how this is going to have major effects when it comes to fixing your car and getting parts for your vehicle. Now, this all started when smartphones became extremely popular, especially the iPhone. If anybody's ever had one, they realize that the screens kind of break from time to time and you have to get them repaired. And what happened? People had to go to Apple to get their screens fixed. And because of this, Apple charged an absolutely insane premium to get your phone fixed. And because of this and the demand, it basically sprung up a secondary market where there was companies making aftermarket screens and willing to fix your phone. And all these tech companies started suing all these smaller manufacturers and repair shops because they stated that it was hurting their intellectual properties, it was infringing on their rights, and they should take it away. Now, the whole purpose of the right to repair bill is that if you purchase something with your hard-earned money, you have the right to repair it. Now, I know this sounds funny and people are like, well, I don't get it. That's not that big of a deal. Imagine this. Imagine you just went out and bought a brand new car for $40,000 and it runs great. Everything is good. But every 1,500 miles, it goes into limp mode. And the only way you can get it out of limp mode is to take it to the dealership and pay $1,000. So now the dealership knows that they can charge you $1,000 every 1,500 miles and you have no choice but to pay it. This is basically the free spirit of right to repair. They want anybody to be able to repair any of their products with no issues and no problems. And this is what causes a free market. It gives aftermarket parts a chance to come in to basically balance out the books. So there's not a monopoly on a certain product. I don't care whether it's your cell phone, the washing machine in your basement, or an actual car. The right to repair is a critical law when it comes to this. So what's currently happening now is the tech industry is lobbying, trying to change the law and eliminate right to repair. They're trying to say that people are too stupid to fix their own products. And on top of that, if they were to give people access to diagrams and their parts, it hurts their intellectual properties, which is absolute BS. But the thing that scares me is tech companies have a way of getting around the law. They can make things happen that other companies can't. The auto industry tried this years ago and it absolutely failed time after time. But every time a tech company gets in there and wanted to do something crazy, they get it done. Perfect example, self-driving cars. If I were to tell somebody, hey, I don't know if this self-driving works, but I want to put it in millions of cars and put them on the road and just test it this way, it never would happen. Only because a tech company got into it first before it came to the automotive sector. But these are just some of the things that tech companies can get away with and the automotive companies could never do in a million years. So the reason why this is such a big deal for the automotive industry is because if you've watched any of your favorite YouTubers, whether it's Matt Armstrong, Tavarish, or Rich Rebuilds, they've all had multiple problems and issues with either getting diagrams or parts for their vehicle, or they simply just wouldn't program something unless they did X, Y, and Z. This is the problem that we're having. Dealers are already fighting back. A perfect example of this is the Rolls Royce that you see sitting in front of me today. Now, I went down to the dealership to order some parts, and I was told multiple times, I'm not a certified dealer, I'm not a certified repair shop, I can't purchase parts for this car. And I had to tell them numerous times as well, you don't have to be a certified dealer. I'm a regular shop and I own a dealership. I can get parts for this. It's no problem. You can either give them to me or I can just write corporate an email and they will force you to sell me the parts, whether it's 2 hours from now or 2 days from now. It's up to you. Now, most times they cave. Other times I have to write the email and then they hear back from corporate. This is part of the Right to Repair Act. They have to sell you certain parts because if you paid your hard-earned money to buy something, you should have the right to fix it. Can you imagine going out buying a house like, hey, I found this really cool old school house. It's got good bones. I can't wait to remodel it. You close on the house, you walk in there, and all of a sudden the bank calls you and says, hey, you can't remodel that house. You have to find the manufacturer or you have to find a builder that built this house 30 years ago and ask them if you can upgrade it. It's hilarious. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, they keep saying that this makes sense for the tech industry, but you have to remember, think about how much technology is in your car. Little by little, there's going to be more tech in your car than in your home. So at this point, we need to protect this law to make sure that you have access to fixing your car. Some of the stupid things with like not selling people parts is an absolute nightmare. If you guys ever watched Rich Rebuilds or you've seen a few of my videos where I fixed up Teslas trying to fix them and flip them, this is why I don't like to deal with a lot of EVs, because every time I go to Tesla to buy a part, I can't sell it to you. Can you give me a diagram so I can see how this bolts up and how everything fits? No, I can't give you that either. And then even when I order parts, sometimes they'll cancel them and say, oh, I didn't have approval from whoever the higher ups. It's absolutely stupid. It's a pain in the butt. And then on top of that, even with like a regular car, with like Ford, Honda, Chevy, Toyota, they'll do the same things. I had the funniest thing happen about 6 months ago. I replaced a windshield. I believe it was in a 2021 Honda Accord. I bought it, cleaned it up, and I was getting ready to take it back to auction. But when I was driving it to the auction, I noticed that the ABS lights were on, the blind sensor monitoring was flashing. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I guess when you replace the windshield, it resets all these programs. So now you have to have the car re-diagnosed and rebalanced at the actual dealership. So when I called the dealership, I'm like, hey, how do I reset this on my scanner? What are the procedures to rebalance or reprogram your system? And they all told me the exact same thing. You can't do it. You have to bring it in the dealership. And I was like, I'm not bringing it in the dealership. How much, will you charge me to do this? $1,000. I just laughed. I said, no. I go, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I ended up having to get online. I figured out how to do it, and it was fairly quickly. Another issue I had is when I had the other NSX that we bought that was wrecked, we put a new hybrid system in it, and for some reason it wouldn't work. And so I went down to Acura to ask them, what's the issue of this car? What is this code? And they told me that the hybrid system is not talking to the PCM, that we have to basically reflash those so this way they're talking in the same language and everything would be good to go. And when I asked him, how long does this take? He's like, it's very quick. It's only 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay. But he goes, we always have to round up to an hour because we're a service shop. I'm like, okay, that's no big deal. I spent $200, I'll reflash it, I'll be good to go. When I went down there to pick up the car, they told me it was $2,600. And I was like, well, you told me it was only 30 minutes to reflash it. You were going to charge me an hour. He's like, well, this is the fee that we're going to do. And I was like, don't worry about it. Go ahead and take it off and I'll just take it somewhere else. And I literally had to argue with them for over an hour before they finally dropped it back down to just a 1 hour labor, and I was able to leave with the car. But it's because of issues like this that it's making harder and harder for regular people to fix their cars. Another great instance of this is the Hyundai, I believe it's Ioniq 5. You cannot take off the brakes unless you actually have a scanner that can do it. Now, I've actually bought a really expensive scanner, and there's a lot of things that I can't even do. Even bleeding the brake system on this car, I had to buy an update, and my scanner with all the pieces, I think was $6,000. And I think I just spent over $1,000 this year in adding more software. So this way I can add more things to do cars like this, to do regular cheap cars, even some of my smart cars. Believe it or not, those cars are cheap. I bought a bunch of them for like $700 to $1,000, which I'll show you here in the channel a little bit. But I can't even work on them because the scanner won't talk to them. I had to buy a whole other system to basically talk to those cars to get deeper in because it's half Mercedes, half Mitsubishi, half God knows what else. So how is a regular person with regular hand tools in their garage ever going to fix their own cars? We're literally getting to the point now where unless you have a garage like mine and you have a bunch of tech tools, you're never going to be able to fix your own car. And it should never be this way. Another thing that I thought was hilarious is when I tried to fix my Teslas, they wouldn't sell me the plug-in adapter for my scanner so I can clear my own codes. I had to actually buy them from outside of the country to get it, so this way I can scan Teslas, reset modules, reprogram things, which I shouldn't have to. By law, they should give you the tools and the parts you need to fix your own cars. Back in the day, if you had a specialty tool, you can go to Ford, Honda, Toyota, and they would literally sell you the tool. If not, Snap-on would have it. One of these guys would have this specialty tool, but now there's so many manufacturers that refuse to sell you the tool. So through the years, I literally became friends with multiple technicians and every manufacturer, just so if anything ever happens and I need that tool, I can ask them to borrow it for the night and then use it. But that's the crazy, ridiculous lengths you have to go to just to fix your own car. Now, I'd love to know your opinion in the comment section below. What do you guys think of right to repair? Did you guys know this law even existed? And on top of that, how do you feel about the next 10 years? Because think about it now, how crazy cars are. Once we get to a point where everything is electronic, especially when it comes to EVs, you're not going to be able to fix anything on your car. You're going to have to go to a dealership and pay $300 to $400 an hour probably by then on just to fix your car. But anyways, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a rainy week. I was trying to do some more car flipping videos outside. I'll walk over here, but you can see it's literally pouring rain here in Vegas. It's F1 weekend, so unfortunately I couldn't do it. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.